Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Whether you're listening at home, in your car, or doing some homework, this is your favorite sports talk show at Indiana State University, Sports Extra. Today with me, of course, I'm Coby Clark. Across the way, who we got over there? A new face that you guys may have never seen before.
So I'm Kramer, freshman. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about some sports. Super excited to work with Coby. So let's get going.
Chloe, I'm not going to lie, I turned on the wrong mic. But you still, I got you in there. Her name, say your name again.
Kramer, freshman. Super excited.
Oh, yes. Chloe Kramer, one of our new faces here at the station. And by the way, you guys can be a new face here too if you want to come hop on the train. Always here, third floor of Dreiser Hall, the newly renovated station here at WZIS. It's a great place. If you ever want to just come hang out, get to know people, or if you're ever interested, please. I'm always here. Chloe comes through. So It's a great time.
Maybe a bias party, but great fun. Come hang out,
Absolutely.
Can't come anywhere else and just goof off for 3 hours and not do anything. So.
Well, let's be honest. We do work here. We do a lot of work here.
We do work here, yeah.
I love this job with a passion. So, Chloe, let me ask you this quick question. Yeah. Whether it be around student, what is your favorite part about being here for student media, really? What made you really get into this?
I like the atmosphere. It's super fun. I've been at a lot of different studios, a lot of different stations. It's just super chill. I can come here. I can write. I can be on air. I can make friends. We can hang out. But I also it's a place to come, work, learn, grow. You don't just show up and not get any guidance. You show up and you learn and you grow and you get better. And it's just make good friends and, come hang out.
Exactly. This place, you can't just be handed everything as soon as you get here. You got to work for it, and Chloe has definitely proven that and shown us that. So I really appreciate your work here, Chloe. So let's talk about the rundown. Also, before I get to that, exciting news. We're over here on Twitch. If you're not being able to listen to our voices, you can watch us also. You can see our beautiful faces at WZIS-FM on our Twitch. And while you're doing that, you can follow all of our social medias with the same handle at WZIS-FM, being our Instagram, TikTok, and my favorite, the Twitter. So got to plug all of those things. Bang, bang, boom, boom. So let me give you the rundown here today. Usually, the simple, normal, basic stuff. Sports Extra is all about the state of Indiana and the university, with Indiana State University being affiliated. So here we go. We have Indiana State football to be talked about. They played a game last Saturday, unfortunately losing to Youngstown State. So we'll have to get a little bit into that. Then we're going to go to a break and then talk a little bit about, let's say, the Indianapolis Colts. They won a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars at Lucas Oil Stadium just yesterday. An impressive win for sure. And then we're going to recap it with our preview for the first week of Indiana Pacers basketball, the first few games they have in the new season. Chloe, ISU played a game on Saturday, starting off with the college football team. This marked the fifth straight loss, unfortunately, for the Sycamores as they traveled all the way to Youngstown State out in Ohio to take on the Penguins. And might I add, what a great name for any college. I've never heard, probably no other school in the country has the Penguins as a name. So kudos to them. That's cool. But unfortunately, they lost in a shootout 48-42. It was an impressive outing from both squads in the first half, as the halftime score did read 35-28, so a very high-scoring game all the way through. But the Penguins were able to hold on until the fourth quarter, where only a total of 3 points were scored just in the fourth quarter. So they must have used all the scoring in those first three quarters, and the Youngstown State team made a field goal, and that pretty much summed that one up. Quarterback Cade Chambers for the Indiana State Sycamores made his first ever start on the road, and he did impressive, 311 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. This coming after just last week when he almost, first start ever for the Indiana State Sycamores, just jumped the gun and almost stunned number one North Dakota State in the FCS rankings. Almost did it, but an impressive outing for him for sure. And then you go to running back Justin Dinka, who continues to put out all the numbers, 159 rushing yards, which is coming off just another impressive over 120 rushing yards again last week. Dante Hendricks, he was doing his thing. He had 117 yards. Dakota Caton, one of the wide receivers for the Sycamores, brought in 2 of the touchdown passes, so good for him. But it was really the Penguins who sold it for this game, as the running back Jaleel McLaughlin, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and now Youngstown State Penguin, He ran for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. So definitely the way to sum this one up, really. Defensively, not a whole lot there, but they were called upon when needed. But the offense, it was an offensive game, Chloe. Let me get your first thoughts on just how this game really worked out in your eyes.
So watching the game, we jumped right out of the gate, and most games it's a chip away. Like, we jumped out, and it was like, bam, 75 yards, bam, 50 yards. It was back and forth. Like, our defense tends to, hold up strong. That's something that we've always been really good at as Indiana State, especially this season. Our defense has been really strong, and I was really shocked to see that both teams just jumped out of the gate right away with big plays. There was no 4 or 5 yards. I mean, there were some, but there was just a lot of big plays, a lot of, jump out 75 yards here, 60 yards here, a lot of big passes, a lot of deep runs, a lot of broken tackles. It was just really, offensively, it was just a bizarre game for Missouri Valley play.
I know, especially coming from the Missouri Valley. I wouldn't necessarily. I'm not one to say that the Missouri Valley Conference doesn't have a lot of potential and great players such as other conferences. But I mean, when you look at the teams in this one, it's kind of easy to say that we're not no Big Ten. Like we're not IU, we're not Purdue, we're not nothing Ohio State or Michigan like that. So when you see something like this coming from a lower end school, it's pretty nice. And especially when there was 6 total first half plays that traveled through 50-plus yards in the air, or just all over the first half. An impressive job by both the offense, Coach Mallory, the head coach, and Coach Bath, the offensive coordinator, really showing themselves, hey, we got a new face in that quarterback. And shout out to the quarterback, Cade Chambers, especially with what happened last week in his first start coming into this week. A lot of high potential is going into this man, as he was named the Missouri Valley Football Conference Freshman of the Week. So shout out to him. I mentioned before, 311 passing yards and 5 total touchdowns in the loss, throwing 15 for 29 passes, just barely etching that 50% mark. I mean, among the highlights Saturday, Chambers, he was the first ISU quarterback to top 300 passing yards in a single game since Ryan Boyle threw for 325 against South Dakota back in 2018. We didn't have a 300-yard passer in a game since 2018. That's, man, it's just not good. But I feel like we found the answer.
His first collegiate start on the road, and he broke 300 yards for the first time in his career as a freshman. Like, you can't look at a game as a freshman and be mad. We may not have walked away with the win, but that's a great game for a freshman to come out here and just show him what he's made of, especially like in this school and the opportunities that he's had. I'm looking forward to 4 more years with him.
Hopefully. Let's say hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I like to see this. I like to see Cade. I mean, I mentioned it last week. Just off one game performance, you can't really judge a whole person off of just a game, because if that was the case, a lot of people would be making a lot of money in the NFL.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Cade Chambers and when it comes to the former starter, Gavin Screws, Gavin really had a hard time, working around in this offense. He would question a lot of things, a lot of turnovers on his end. It just wasn't a great start for him through those first couple of weeks. But once Cade finally got the keys, as I would say, to the car, he fully went and took it, and he is nowhere to be seen. He's gone. He's down the road. Bye-bye. Cade Chambers definitely is the right man for the Sycamores to be the starting quarterback. I really like what he brings. I mean, there's definitely a difference in play there between Gavin and Cade has impressed me more. Cade also became the Sycamores' 3rd player just this year to claim weekly honors during the conference time. I mean, Rylan Cole, he done it twice for Defensive Player of the Week, and Ryan O'Grady, who did it for special teams back in his nice kicking performance against North Alabama in the first week. So great job to him. Hopefully we do see a lot of him more, and we will, definitely. So, but one player I want to talk about who's really came on to himself as well is running back Justin Dinka. I mean, at the very, very early in the year, he was the backup backup running back to T. Hodge. And T. Hodge, he was getting a lot of runs and a lot of carries, but really he had a very bad turnover performance in the first couple of weeks, especially when me and Zach went out to Purdue. We saw on a first play of the game, it was a fumble, and T. Hodge was the man who fumbled. And then Justin Dinka, it's a Big Ten school. What are you going to do? That he did a pretty good job running the ball. I mean, he's had huge games just back-to-back, eclipsing over 120 rushing yards. So what are your thoughts on this running game that the ISU team has finally kind of discovered?
I'm super excited to watch it grow. Justin Dinka came out and he had 2 big runs. I mean, he started the game with a 75-yard run. I mean, this running team that we've had, we finally came into it, and I'm really excited to see. That was definitely something that I think played a contributing factor is our players like Dinka that are coming out and just running and putting the ball in play. And, when we can't necessarily get 10, 15, 20, 30 yards on a pass, we can trust these people or trust these guys to come out and run the ball for 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. That's just something that is indispensable as a team. If we can't get the ball off, we can trust these guys to run it downfield.
Absolutely. And especially when talking about Justin Dinka, he took the first play of the game all the way to the house, a 75-yard rushing touchdown. So that definitely helps your rushing numbers when you can do that. And, he's just really came on to himself. I really like what he's been doing. I love the fact that no matter what, no matter who's throwing him the ball, heck, he could have me throwing the ball out there on Saturdays. My man, Dante Hendricks, he just, every day, he's a reliable 100 receiving yard guy. He doesn't have to have touchdowns. This game, he didn't have a receiving touchdown, but just the fact that he's healthy and he's able to be on the field is important for multiple kinds of ways, especially in the passing game when it really risks the defense. Because when you have someone like that on the field, it opens up other guys such as Dakota Caton, who had 2 receiving touchdowns. Chloe, let me get your take on how Dante Hendricks, what he really means to this team.
He's been one of those players that we've talked about throughout the season. He's been a big player, and even this game, he may not have had a touchdown, I don't remember exactly, but he was part of that trio with 117 rushing yards that led to the 300 yards for Cade Chambers. When you have a guy coming out pulling that many yards in a game, it's something that you have to look at him and say, he may not have got the touchdown, but he's such a big, important team. He's a name well known on campus. He's just a leader, and I'm super excited to see what he does with the team as we continue to move through our season.
Unfortunately, I do think this might be his last season at Indiana State. He's kind of, I said this last week, I think he's league bound. I think there's been a few NFL teams every couple of years that come through Indiana State, come through Terre Haute. And, even the Washington Commanders came out just a few weeks ago. Doesn't say who they looked at, but you got to assume that the best player on the team was definitely being looked at from an NFL team. But the unfortunate side of this is the defense. The offense, we can give them high praise all day, all week, but if you don't really win, then that's the unfortunate part. Our defense is allowing a lot of numbers, a lot of receiving yards, a lot of rushing yards. We're unfortunately 5 losses in a row. Indiana State, we're not known as a football team. We're not known as a football school. We're mainly basketball, and hopefully basketball season, which is just about to start right around the corner, 2 to 3 weeks. You can hear that right here on WZIS-FM. But, the defense right here for the football team, unfortunately, just not being able to stop a lot of these high-end opponents. So, Chloe, what do you think the defense really needs to work on?
Early on in our season, we could see, even in the Purdue game, our defense, carried a lot of the weight. But I think as we're moving through the season, we're starting to see that they're not, I don't want to say they're not pulling as much weight, but it doesn't feel like they're doing as much. What we talked about earlier, like I said earlier, they were coming out and letting several big 60-yard passes that were just hurting us. And I think that just solidifying up, working on getting that line, working on just overall improving and continuing to move forward and not plateauing this season is going to be the biggest thing that our defense can do. That's going to help us as we start to move towards postseason.
100% with you. And we got homecoming this week, so it's homecoming week here on campus at Indiana State. The unfortunate part, there's a lot of highs and lows you can take. The lows, of course, the 5 losses in a row. Never good, never pretty, whether you're in a rebuild, whether you're just expecting a lot. I'm a Saints fan, and I've been expecting L after L after L every week, and it happened again. But we'll talk about that tomorrow on Sports Extra Uncut. There's a lot of fight in this team. I really have noticed there's a lot of new life, a lot of just something positive, and a lot of new potential coming this way for the team. And they got Illinois State coming up. They got a home game, homecoming. You get the best out of the players on that Saturday, especially homecoming. You can hear that game with Blake Simpson and Joe Moore on the call. That will be at 12:45 a.m. or p.m. Excuse me. No, that'd be a very late game. Yeah, very late game. It's a 1 p.m. game, and you can hear it right here. Or if you're a student, I always prefer going out, seeing.
Come out,
but if you
be
can't
loud.
make it, you can listen right here. But last thing I want to ask you, Chloe, before we go take a quick break right here. last thing, I mean, with the positivity and the negativity that goes around this team, what does the team just really mainly need to focus on from now until the end of the year? Because, I mean, 1-5, it's not looking pretty. We have to kind of win out to even have a chance in the conference. So what's your take on it?
I think that offensively we're starting to get our groove, and defensively we kind of, I don't want to say we've backed off, but it kind of looks like that. I say that, just our defense needs to continue to move forward, and our offense just needs to continue to click. And, perseverance, we're going to get there. Things are going to start happening, and I'm super excited to see what happens. I think we have potential to go far this year, and I'm just excited to see where we go. I don't think our record is a true reflection of the team that we have.
Facts.
When everything's clicking, if we have an offensive game like we did this past week and an defensive game like we did towards the North Alabama or the first part of the Purdue game, we're going to have a strong team. And I'm excited to see when everything starts clicking, what our team can do.
I'm going to have to be right there with you. I really like the potential of this team. I mean, just these past 2 weeks, Kate Chambers seems like he's the guy, and they're going to run it with him until the end of the year and going into next year. Justin Dinka, he's been a beast in the running game. So it's unfortunate we're going to be losing a couple of guys. And our defense, I mean, it's great to have all of these numbers. I mean, we scored a lot of points in this game. But, I mean, the stats can tell you on defense, we put up 42 and it's not enough to win.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully that can turn into a win this Saturday as they are at home, homecoming game against Illinois State. We're going to take a quick break here, just a 30-second break on our Twitch, and if you're listening in your car or wherever you are at. And we're going to come back and talk some Indianapolis Colts NFL news. We'll be right back as you're listening to WZIS-FM Z90.7. We are back live here on Sports Extra, WZIS-FM. Follow all of our social media. Heck, follow Chloe's social media. Chloe, what's your social media? Throw it out there.
I don't have social media right
Never
now.
mind. But you can follow me at the Coby Clark. Working at this job, you just get crazy stuff going through your head.
Yeah. So when I come back, because I'll be back, I'll have my social medias back up, okay? I'm taking a break.
No, that's okay. Everyone needs a break. You guys take a break, mental break. I mean, mental health is important. So,
yeah.
Or physically, if you're unable to, if your fingers are hurting, I don't know. Do your thing.
Texter's thumb.
You can text with your feet if you're somehow creative that way. Do your thing.
Do you?
No, but let's talk about the National Football League here for a second, as the team in our backyard, the Indianapolis Colts, they had a game this past Sunday, and they actually weren't looking good. I'll be honest. They were not pretty in the first half. But things turned around in a good way, and they came out the victor against an AFC South rival, the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a final score of 34-27. The Colts, they did go down 14-3, and it was really the effort in the great potential that Matt Ryan has brought to this team. 58 throws, okay, but he had 42 completions. Me personally, I would never be having Matt Ryan throw the ball 58 times, especially at his age and where he is in his career. But running back Jonathan Taylor wasn't ready for this game. He was still unable to perform. So unfortunately, they had to go with the hot hand, and Matt Ryan was that guy, throwing for 389 yards and adding 3 touchdowns. Michael Pittman would end up having 134 yards, and it was Campbell, Pierce, and Woods each grabbing a touchdown. So the Jaguars, I mean, they had a good fight in them in the first half. They did their thing. It was just unfortunate for them, as the Colts did come back in this one and played a heck of a game. Chloe, your initial thoughts and reactions.
So looking at the Colts game, we got down early in the game, and I was like, you know what, whatever. And then we came back. I mean, it was a great game to watch. It was back and forth, and I was just super excited to see. And like you said, I would never traditionally be like, yeah, let's throw the ball. But, I mean, if he's going to continue to put up, 42 out of 58 attempts, completion, like, keep letting him throw, man. Like, if you're throwing at that level, I agree with the decision to be like, hey, let's keep throwing. And that that final touchdown of the game, beautiful pass. I love this game. It was fun to watch. It was back and forth. It was cool.
Good. The Colts, I mean, they had a really rough start at the beginning of the year. And it's kind of taking a turn, which is a good thing, You always want to see your hometown team win. I mean, I'm not a Colts fan by any means. Everyone knows I'm a Saints fan around here, which people ask me, what is wrong with you? You're a Saints fan? Oh, what team are you?
Wait, me?
Yeah, what team are you?
Saints.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yes.
You've never told me that.
Yes.
When have you told me you were a Saints fan?
It went through the Discord. We were having this whole big thing. Yeah. Yeah, look back. I was defending you. When it was like week 2. Yeah.
I don't know.
There was this whole thing because the fantasy league. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I could believe you. You've
Pull it
never
up.
said that.
Pull it up.
I can't look it up right now. We're in the middle of a show. I will look that up.
No, because I started the season with the Colts, and then they dropped some stupid crap, and I was like, bye, I'm going back to the team I was last season. And
you're switching teams?
I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good ISU student. I'll support the Indiana team. And no, I'm going back to the Saints.
Okay, good.
Which has turned out to,
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I mean, they ended in a tie. I mean, they were just getting blown out against Houston on the road, and it ended in a tie. They definitely did get blown out against the Jaguars the first time, 24-0. And a lot of people were just raising some eyebrows, like, what are we doing? We can't get any player healthy. Matt Ryan, what did we do? We're trying to bring in a third quarterback for the third year, and he's just not it. Then they beat the Chiefs. Of all teams, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs without Darius Leonard. So kudos to them.
Yes.
Great job. Then, unfortunately, they did lose in the last couple of minutes to the Tennessee Titans at home. But then another really bad, just bad game by both squads, the Broncos and the Colts. But the Colts won 12-9.
I mean, when you're putting up 21 points in a game, man.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting game.
And then when you go to the Colts and Jags, that just happened. A lot of people were still skeptical, but unfortunately for the Jags, they did not like that. They did win. They went down early, but they still prevailed. And the one thing I really got to give it to is, I guess I got to do it. I got to give it to Matt Ryan. I mean, Matt Ryan, good for you. You fought through. This team desperately needs to find it. A lot of people are saying that they're finding it now, and some people will say they've already found it, what has been working well for them. I mean, you go to a record 3-2-1, boom, jokes. But, I mean, good for them. And the division is still very strong when you look at it. And the Jaguars, I said they went to 2-4. I don't think the Texans are really all that good either. I think they're at the same record. And then the Titans, I think they have a better record than the Colts. So
Yeah, they're 3-2 right now.
the Titans are?
Yeah, Tennessee Titans are.
And it makes sense. They're playing again this week. But this time it will be in Tennessee. I mean, the Colts have had a very strange schedule because they've played both Jaguars games within 6 weeks. They're going to be playing the Colts game or the Titans games within 7 weeks. Then they play the Texans in the first game, and then they're going to be playing them in the last game. So a lot of out of division games coming the Colts' way from the next couple of weeks until the end of the season. So good for them. But one thing we have to really talk about here is the defense. And I think really when it comes down to when you don't have probably the best linebacker in the NFL in Darius Leonard, the former Gamecock, I mean, it could be kind of hard to rally the troops, and they just don't have, I guess, a lot that can be said about it. But the secondary has been really pulling through. The additions of Stephon Gilmore, that has helped tremendously for them. They still have DeForest Buckner up there in the front. I mean, good for them. So, Chloe, let me get your thoughts while we keep talking about them. The defense, how impressed are you by the defense and the way they've rallied?
I honestly am surprised. The Colts started their season kind of rough, kind of rocky, and their defense seems to have stepped up. I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope things, for their sake, am Hoosier. I hope that they continue to click, and I'm excited to see what their season holds defensively. I don't have any strong opinions defensively for them, but I think that they're going to continue to grow and get better. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Moore, he's a great guy. I like him a lot. Great fit for this Colts defense. Bobby Okereke, a lot of people weren't really high on him when he came to the team, and he's really proved it. He was very young, very raw, but he's really worked himself up as of late. And then you go to a couple of new guys, like even Kwity Paye, unfortunately, he was hurt because I think it was a lower body injury, so he wasn't allowed to be playing in this game. So, I mean, all across the board, really, this team and the Colts, a lot of adversity. A lot of people were saying, hey, the Colts have finally got it. They have the best running game in the league. Their offensive line is top 2, top 3. And, I mean, a lot of people are just surprised the way that they have been performing, whether that be the coaching, whether it be the passing game. So kudos to them. They finally did it. And now this week, of course, they have an AFC South rivalry matchup again, but it will be against the Tennessee Titans, who the Titans did beat them last time at home just 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, 24-17. In that game, Matt Ryan did go about 27 for 37, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a crucial interception, unfortunately. So a pretty good, solid game for him. Jonathan Taylor, he was just a non-factor whatsoever. He averaged about 1 or 2 yards a carry. He had 20 carries for 42 yards, so nothing special right there. And then you want to go to Mo Alley Cox, the tight end. He outperformed everyone. A lot of people were saying that marking him out of the league. I mean, he just wasn't really the next tight end for the Colts, who have had a history of good, decent tight ends. But he had a great performance, 2 touchdowns, 85 yards. And you go to the rookie, Alec Pierce. He had 80 receiving yards, so he was doing his thing. But what really killed them in that game was Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry can kill any team, but unfortunately it had to happen against the Colts, who they do play twice a year. 114 yards and a touchdown. A lot of people say Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor are the top 2 running backs in the NFL. I personally would say it would be Jonathan Taylor when healthy, but right now, Derrick Henry, that game, just straight up outperformed him. Chloe, what do you think about this? What do you think about the Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor debate?
I honestly...
Are they top 2 for you?
No.
Who's the top 1?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like there's so many back and forth right now with injuries, and we're mid-season. We're getting ready to look at some great matchups, and I think that Jonathan Taylor being out is going to really hurt the Colts this weekend. This weekend.
Yeah, he has a potential of coming back.
He is questionable, yeah. But if he doesn't, I'm nervous for the Colts because he was kind of crucial in the first game, and it's supposed to be a close game. So, the Colts losing that player, I think, is going to definitely affect how they play. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen, he seems to be a leader on the team, seems to be a leader on the field. So, whenever you lose a leader, it's definitely gonna impact the players. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
One thing that really goes to show is, I mean, with a bad performance or just they are able to win games without him. So that's the important part. Mm-hmm. But the fact that when he is playing, that he didn't do a good job, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, it's just so hard to say because of how important he is to the running game and just the team in general. But I guess the Titans just have one of the best defensive rushing tandems in the NFL, being able to stop that. So it's going to be a tough game. They desperately need this. I mean, they tied the Houston Texans, which is an AFC South team. They went 1-1 with the Jaguars on this season. And if they lose this, they'll be able to go 0-2 against the Titans. And really, the Titans and the Colts are the 2 teams that are supposed to be at the very top of this division, and the Texans and Jags are the ones to be at the bottom. But the Jaguars have been a very surprising team as of late. The Titans, I don't think they did play this past weekend. I think they had the bye week, which is very interesting. Very early bye week, which I would never want to have a bye week in the 5th week of the NFL. No. So, I mean, good for them, but they're going to have a long time away from taking a break ever so soon. So, final thoughts on this, Chloe, before we go into the Indiana Pacers. I love how I said that. I was looking at the word Indianapolis, and that's why I said it. So, final thoughts before we hop in out and take a look at the rest of the season. Before I do, I mean, a few names that are coming up: Commanders, Patriots, Raiders. Very winnable games, I would say. So, what are your final thoughts?
Looking at it with the Colts and Titans being up there, being, close to the top two, it almost is a disadvantage that the Colts and the Titans had their bye week because they're fresh, they're ready, and especially not having Taylor on the field. I mean, he rushed for 42 yards in their first game. That was the most of any of the Colts. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a close game, and I'm excited to watch it, Things are definitely, and I think this will make or break our area and kind of just see if the Colts can keep the momentum. I mean, they're on, I believe, a 3-game win streak now. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Gonna have to keep paying attention, and hopefully the Colts can turn it around. After we take this quick break, we're gonna be talking about our final thing today, the Indiana Pacers. They have a new season coming up. The season starts tomorrow for the National Basketball Association. So it should be kind of fun and exciting. But the Pacers' first game will be Wednesday. And I'm not going to tell you who the team is because I'm going to have to make you wait 30 seconds. So we'll be right back as you're listening to Sports Extra right here on Z90.7 WZIS. Welcome back to your favorite sports talk show located on the campus of Indiana State University. What is going on over there, Chloe? What's going on? What are you doing?
I'm excited. Also, you just didn't unmute me, so.
Yeah, I keep pushing the wrong button for some reason, but
yeah,
it's just one of those days. It's Monday, Chloe. Give me a break. We all deserve one, and I think, I guess two. So.
I've been up since 4 a.m.
Well, yeah, tell the people where you've been all weekend.
So ISU had the alternative break trip, so I spent my weekend in D.C., which was super fun.
Wait, so alternative break trip? What does that have to do with anything? Like, you get to pay to take instead of going home, you could just pay to go to D.C.?
Yeah, so in December, they have one have a group going to Tennessee, they have a group going to Puerto Rico in March, and they have a group going to Greece in May, and then London this summer.
Are they all the same prices, or I'm guessing they fluctuate?
They fluctuate. This trip was one of the cheaper ones, but no, we left early Friday morning. We got back midday today.
Did you fly there?
Yeah.
Was that your first time on a plane?
No.
Okay. I've never been on a plane.
I like flying.
I don't know how
flying's fun.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Not scary at all?
You've never flown?
No, I want to, but I just don't have the opportunity. So
go on that break.
Yeah. If you can find time in my schedule, please do.
I get up and leave my room at 8 a.m. and I don't get back till 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I wait. My apartment, I wake up at 7:30, and then I don't get home until. Tonight we're not getting back till 11:30 because we're making a cart. We're building our cart for the homecoming and the parade. If you didn't know about that, there's a parade along with homecoming.
Yeah. I should probably go to that, but I'm tired. I'm gonna.
You don't
go to
have
bed.
to. I mean, you can if you want. We're gonna be there doing it Monday and through Thursday. So if you want to come through, come through. So, yeah. But homecoming should be a lot of fun.
Come out. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
A lot of festivities.
For the parade. ISU, all the colleges are having open houses. Is student media doing anything?
I don't think we are. you're kind of looking at it. We're just doing shows and we're just promoting it. So there's going to be a lot of flyers. We have Toys for Tots coming in a few weeks.
Fun.
Stay tuned for that. So if anyone out there listening has toys that they want to get rid of, for a good cause, Toys for Tots drive will be a lot of fun, and the kids definitely will appreciate it. Yeah. I promise you. So let's get into the last thing that we have to discuss today, and that is the Indiana Pacers schedule. In the words of my man Joseph Moore, who is not here today, go Pacers. He would be so excited to be talking about this right now, but unfortunately my man is a little sick. Hopefully, if you're listening at home, Joseph Moore, you get soon. I miss you. We need you.
We miss you. We really do.
So, the Indiana Pacers, very tough season last year. Not the best record, so let's just talk about it, digest it all. This team this year, be quiet. This team this year, we are wanting to lose. It's quite simple. We have really no chance of competing against the best in the league right now in this year. There is a difficult and obvious disadvantage when it comes to player talent from our team to the rest. We are clearly in a rebuilding mode. We traded for Tyrese Halliburton, the former Iowa standout and former Sacramento King. We traded one of our best players back. Whoa, sorry.
You just lost your entire train of thought.
Shout out Christian Hill. I just saw him come through, and that surprised me. So he's a former student here. I'll have to talk to him after this, hopefully. But Tyrese Halliburton, former Sacramento King, we traded him. We got him in a trade for, man, you know what? Christian Hill, you know what? He's hopping in here. Let's get my man on the mic real quick. What's up?
What's going on?
Well, welcome. What's going on, man? How you been?
Excited to be back. Just wanted to stop in and say hi to the new fellow WZIS members and alumni right here.
Right on.
Giving a shout out to Coby Clark and Joseph Moore, like two great guys during my time here, taking over and making the program 10 times better.
Man, Christian, you kind of just, I saw you and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Great. How you been, man? What's going on? What's new?
Oh, man, just living well. Blessed to be in grad school. Blessed to be working with students, doing what I love, still continuing the podcast and talking about sports with my students.
Love that.
Making sure they get interested in the things that will really benefit them in the future.
Love that. If you guys didn't know, if you're listening, Christian Hill, our former news and sports operation director, who did graduate last semester. And where are you at right now?
I'm at Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. You were thinking about coming here, weren't you?
Yeah. It was a toss up. It was a lot of schools I had on the plate. I felt like LeBron in free agency.
That's a great way to look at it.
A lot of people wanted me, and I at the end of the day, I got to pick where I wanted to go, and I was blessed to go there. Always forever will be grateful for the opportunities here at ISU as an alumni. But taking my passions to different places and just trying to spread the love and the joy that I got while I was here at ISU.
You're definitely looking like you're having a lot of fun out there. I've seen on your Snapchat story a few times. So keep living your life, Christian, bro.
I appreciate it. What are we talking about?
We're talking about, actually, we just got done talking about the Colts. We talked a little about the ISU team, but now we're diving into the first week of NBA and the Pacers.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about it with us?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I don't know how much time you got, but
I could do a quick segment.
let's check. All right, one quick segment. Why not? Let me just plant the seed real quick. We're talking about the Indiana Pacers. We traded for Tyrese Halliburton last year at the trade deadline, sending one of our fan favorites, Domantas Sabonis. We have Buddy Hield along with him, but the real player we got, Benedict Mathurin, the rookie out of Arizona. And I got done talking about how this is a very transition year for the Pacers.
I would definitely agree.
A lot of people not expecting a lot of good out of this, but the bad is the good, if you want to say it that way. We want to, not do bad. We want to do a pretty good job rebuilding this team with these new players, with the new faces, and just trying to get the locals, trying to get more involved. So, Christian, let me get your first thoughts. I mean, what are you so excited about with this new upcoming team for the year?
I think it's just an opportunity to grow for them. I think that's one of the best things we're going to see about the Pacers this year is that opportunity for growth. You have Benedict, Tyrese Halliburton going into, what is that, year 3, I want to say? Year 3 or 4?
Benedict?
No.
Halliburton?
Yeah.
Yes, this would be his third year, I believe.
Yeah, his third year, going into his third year. Still, obviously, you have Miles Turner. They have a great rookie center. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he has some great preseason blocks as well.
Oh, Jalen Smith?
Jalen Smith, thank you. Has some great preseason blocks. And so for the team, I think it's about the growth, that opportunity for growth. I don't know though, just kind of looking at the next year's draft with
Victor
and Scotty.
Oh,
I was like,
there's a lot.
I kind of want to see them tank, but I think the opportunity for growth is definitely there, and I think that's what Pacers fans should be looking forward to.
Absolutely. Chloe, I mean, he kind of touched on it. What are you excited for about this team, other than I guess the young youth? I mean, anything that you're really excited about?
I'm excited to watch them grow. Like you guys have said, it's such a big rebuilding year. I think that we're going to see a lot of growth over the next several years, and I don't really think I have anything else to add. You kind of said what I was going to say.
Nah, man. We still have Chris Duarte, him coming into his second year, 25 years old. I mean, sure, people are saying drafting a 24-year-old out of college definitely doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, for this team right now, we're in a rebuild. He's only going to get better, I think. So this team, one thing that I have to add, Miles Turner. I mean, this man has been going through the ringer the last couple of years, thinking his name's in trade talks. Then he comes back here. We almost signed DeAndre Ayton of all people. Now we're trying to, in this midst of the Lakers wanting to trade for him and Buddy Hield. So there's definitely some uncertainty around his name on this team come the trade deadline. But one thing I absolutely do love is Isaiah Jackson, great young center, Tyrese Halliburton, and O'Shea Brissett doing his thing. And you mentioned it, Jalen Smith, like who we got. He actually was not a rookie, but we traded him. We got in a trade from Phoenix.
Okay.
So, I mean.
He's a second year or?
I think he is I think he was in the 2020 draft. So, yeah.
Draft. Okay.
Second or third year, but he was the 10th overall pick. Never got playing time. It just wasn't the right fit. So, kudos for the Pacers to finally scoot him up, and he came back in free agency. So, Christian, let me ask you this. With the Pacers game coming this week, we have on the slate the Wizards on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. On Friday, the San Antonio Spurs and the Detroit Pistons on Saturday. So those three teams right there, they're kind of not in the best situation as well. So it's kind of funny and ironic that we're kind of do the same thing. I know the Spurs, they want to try and get Victor, I've heard. The Pistons, I mean, they can only get better if they keep getting younger. So what are your thoughts on the first upcoming games, especially this Wizards game on Wednesday?
The Wizards game is interesting. I don't know if Bradley Beal will be playing in that game because I think that definitely swings the tide for the Wizards. I see the Wizards kind of edging that game out.
He is questionable.
If he's playing, if he's not playing, I see the Pacers taking that game. I think we beat the San Antonio Spurs for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't think they have enough firepower at all.
It's on purpose, though, I think.
Yeah. And then who was the third team?
The Detroit Pistons.
The Pistons.
Took Jaden Ivey.
That one's going to be definitely a dogfight. I'm going to have to take the Pistons. I think they'll have a lot of team chemistry, especially from what I saw in the preseason. They didn't play bad in the preseason. Just shaking off the rust, but I think the Pistons come out. So I see us going 1-3, worst case scenario, 2-3. I'm sorry.
Nah.
1-2, worst case scenario, 2-1, best case scenario. I don't think we win all three games though.
But do we want to win? That's like the thing as a Pacer fan and as the organization. They're surrounding themselves with young talent, and we want to see them only get better, but they have to lose. So. That's what I'm trying to get to.
I think you want to put up a contestable win. Like you want to put up a contestable win margin. So when I say that, I mean you want to hover around that 9-8 spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you don't get it, but you're like maybe 2 or 3 games out of contention of the 9 or 8 seed in the East, right? And so it puts you in a good position to go into that next year's season. Probably with some solid draft capital,
right.
So wherever you fall in the lottery.
Great money going into next year as well.
Great money coming in the next year. And then also the fact that, like, now you have a building block for the next couple years. Because, as we know, the East is only getting better. Like, the Celtics are in contention. The Nets are in contention. The Atlanta Hawks have DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, as well as John Collins. So they could possibly be in contention. I don't see the Knicks being in contention, but they honestly could make a push if Julius Randle has another.
Right.
You know, if he has another breakout
big question
kind of
mark over his head.
All-star season, you never know. The Bucks, obviously, one of those teams. And so, like, there are so many highly talented teams. The Heat are another one. And so, if you hover around that 8-9 seed, even if you don't necessarily get it, but you hover around, I'll say 4 games behind the 9 or 8 seed, you are set very well to go into the next season very much in a position to make a playoff run. Maybe not be one of those top 4 or 5 teams, but at least part of that bottom 6 to 9.
Absolutely.
Maybe get a play-in seed and go from there.
I think the one thing that I like to look at is the fans. We don't want them to win. The organization, you never can really tell. But the players, they're going to go out there and play. It's like their last thing. They want to play. They want to win. They don't really care about some rookie coming in, potentially taking their spot, They want to keep doing their thing. But the way the roster's set up and the way the schedule's going on pretty much easily, we could easily go 3-0.
Yeah.
So, Chloe, let me get your thoughts on this as well.
I'd like to see us go 3-0, but like you guys have said, I don't think that's in our best interest. I mean, we are young. We need to develop, and otherwise, you keep saying what I'm going to say.
Let her go first.
I'm going to have to ask Chloe next.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I'm going to do it. So, Chloe, one thing I do want to talk about is the player development that we've mentioned before. Chris Duarte, his second year. Tyrese Halliburton, his first real season start with the Pacers. What are you expecting out of them, Benedict Mathurin, these individual players that the Pacers and the fans are so liked and looking forward towards the future?
I'm excited to watch them grow and continue to grow. I mean, they are still pretty young, and it is a rebuilding year. I think that there's a lot of potential, and I'm excited just to see where they go. I don't have super high expectations, but, I mean, they're still young, so I'm super excited just to watch how they begin to grow as a team and how, as we start to rebuild, that dynamic changes and we can see like kind of where we're going to go.
Absolutely.
And I think the first few games, now that we're getting into regular season, are going to kind of set a precedent, whether it be good or bad, and then just we'll take off from there.
Got you. Christian, same question for you. Individually, what are you looking at?
I'm expecting Tyrese Halliburton to have an all-star year or very much close to that all-star caliber year. I know we talked about this last year when Joe was on the podcast with me. I mean, when Joe was on the show with me. But Tyrese Halliburton versus LaMelo Ball and how they
be crazy.
You know how the similar, you know, they had a stretch where it's like who was really the all-star. So I expect him to have an all-star like season. I'm not necessarily sure if he'll get into the all-star game or anything like that, but I expect him to put up really great numbers. I expect Chris Duarte, I expect him to take another leap. Like, obviously, him being 25 years old at this point, he's entering his prime as a player when we think about NBA players in their prime. It's
crazy to think,
So I think he's going to have a big step-up year as well. Our Ricky and Benedict, for him,
sky's the limit.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think he'll probably be third or fourth in rookie voting. Like, I think he's going to have a good season. I don't know if it would be enough to beat, you know, Paolo or Jabari Smith.
You're not wrong. They're in better situations where they're kind of the guy.
But I think he has enough talent, and I think the Pacers will put it together as the season continues, for him to make a case for probably third or fourth in the rookie voting.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be shocked either if he did win it.
Like, I could see him winning a few Rookie of the Months.
Rookie of the weeks, months, you name it.
I could see him maybe winning one or two.
He's got something special. He brings great defense. We've seen in the preseason and the summer league. Man, he can really play.
Great energy. I didn't like the fact that he was like, when he talked about LeBron, like,
that was crazy.
On the court. That was a little wild.
Love that court. I love what he's thinking.
The thought process,
yes.
though, I can definitely agree. The thought process is amazing.
So, last question before we get on out of here. I have to just ask, Miles Turner, you know, long-term, the longest tenured Pacer, probably in a very long time. I believe he's been here 7 years now from that 2015 draft class. He's a defensive beast in the paint. He does his thing. Will he still be a Pacer after the year's end?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I think so. I think he's found a home here in Indianapolis where we have given him. I hate to say this, but like, we've partially given him the respect he's deserved, and he can continue to go out. Now, if he during the season doesn't play up to the standard which they think he was, I could see him getting shipped out. Though I'll be honest.
I could see it too, and that's what's scary because of names like Ayton that we have been so close to getting and replacing him, and he's in trade talks almost every year. Just the thought process of a player that has to deal with something like that every day, every week. So, Chloe, your thoughts on this?
I think that he'll stay as long as he can stay healthy. It'd almost be nice, I think, to have someone who's been at the team for a few years, to have some leadership, have some senior leadership in the paint, and just be able to help bring up some of these younger kids, especially since we have a younger team. But like Christian said, like, if he doesn't stay healthy, I don't think he's going to. And if he doesn't live up to that name, I don't think he's going to stay.
It's kind of weird because if you look back on it just a few years ago, he was the guy that would, you know, he would be still being taught. And now he's kind of thrown into this position where it's your team, man. Not really his team, but he's the leader.
He was a
team.
cornerstone. A few years ago, he was a cornerstone piece of the Indiana Pacers. Like, I think back to that team.
That Victor team with DeMond, Sabonis, like, it was a special team.
It was Victor, Sabonis, and him. Like, those were the big three of the Indiana Pacers. And so, like you said, it's just the fact either he lives up to the expectation, or Indiana sees value in him as a veteran player, and they, you know, continue to keep with him. Absolutely.
I'm excited. I mean, just the fact that we have great youth. I mean, the Pacers have never done this. They never even had a top 10 pick, and I don't even know how long, and they had a 6th overall pick with Benedict that came right to them, and I couldn't be happier. I'll be a little biased. I kind of like the idea of getting Ivy, but he went one pick before. But Benedict was my second option. So seeing him here doing what he's already been doing, Tyrese Halliburton, he's exciting to see. I mean, Buddy Hield off the bench, I would assume he's not going to be starting. He's adding some trade pieces. So this team can only get better for worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just get right into it. So, I mean, this Pacers team with the Wizards coming up this Wednesday. Let's see how they can do the season starter. Please go out, support them if you can. It'll be a lot of fun this season. Christian, appreciate the surprise, man.
No,
Came out of nowhere.
I appreciate you, letting me come on for a quick minute, man.
It was kind of not a real option. You kind of just walked in. But I'm kidding. I would always love to have you on.
I'm proud of you. You become an excellent host. I love to see it.
I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. I always looked up to you, even with my time here, just in 1 year with you, and you gave a lot of things that I learned going into this job. So, I mean, appreciate you for real.
Appreciate you. You're doing phenomenal.
Right on.
Y'all doing 10 times better than you. Even what I think I could have put out.
What's your first? Have you been actually seen the tour?
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit.
Great, right?
Great space,
Love it.
amazing space. I'm proud. Y'all are gonna take it to the next level.
100%.
I can't wait to come back in a couple of years and see all the IBS trophies on here.
We're gonna get more for sure. Just wrapped that up last week, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Crazy week.
Any last words for you guys before we get on out of here? Enjoy our Monday night.
No.
It's homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody at ISU, have a great time. If you see me during homecoming, say hi.
Please
If
do.
you see WZS, definitely support them. Make sure you donate. As an alumni, I'm going to try my best to donate once I get some money.
Absolutely.
But if you are in a position to donate, please donate to the station. Let us get all the support because these guys are doing amazing work.
Please do, please do. And if you're ever, interested in joining, third floor, Dreiser Hall, baby. We would love to have you here and get some work done with you.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to all our social medias at WZIS-FM. Stay up to date. We have the homecoming game this Saturday. We have the parade, I believe, at 9 a.m. on Saturday. So if you want some free candy, go around. It's on Wabash, or it wraps around. So in the game, there'll be 1 p.m. call with our man Blake and Joe. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Who's in the booth?
It'll be Zach.
Okay.
So, yeah. I have a wedding to go to that day. So I can't even be involved in anything, so unfortunately. But it's a good cause. It's my dad. He's getting married again. So good for him. So
We're going to miss you, Coby.
I'm going to miss you guys more. So for Chloe and for Christian, I've been your host, Coby Clark, here on Sports Extra. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Follow our Twitch as well. So we have to get on out of here. Unfortunately, love seeing Christian on this show again. Man, if we could ever make it possible again, please give me some more time ahead.
I'll definitely
have to do
I'll
it.
definitely stop back in. This was just a pop-up surprise, but I'll definitely stop back in because I would love to, hear your thoughts.
Absolutely.
You guys, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
There are no words to describe it.
I appreciate that, man. If you ever want to rewatch these shows, check out our YouTube. They're right there just for your ears to hear all of it. So, but finally, for the real this time, for Christian, for Chloe, I'm Coby Clark. Take care, everyone. This was Sports Extra on Z90.7 WZIS.